with patch 6.45 around the corner, time has come to quickly refresh ourselves about what has been happening in the Endwalker Hildibrand questline. At least so far. Because, well, it's a little bit weird, isn't it? This time around, our tale began with that creepy Lalafell guy who was stalking Nashu when we were back in Kugane. We come across him in Ratsatan, where he is stalking no other than Nashu. Last time we saw her and Hildibrand, they were sucked into this kind of a portal along with Gilgamesh and only made a very brief random cameo in Shadowbringers. But Nashu is back and so is Hildibrand. Well, at least the body of Hildibrand. He is in a coma, a very similar one to our friend's. Seeming his soul is still stuck on the first while his body is back to the source. Knowing how to fix that, we head to the first to find the soul and drag it back to the source. And there we learn that Hildibrand isn't just missing, he has lost his memory and mind as he seems to think he's a sin eater. But that's nothing some explosive can't fix, so after blowing him up, we get some help from Numau to get him back to the source. As we arrive back, we realize that Nashu has filled the only jobs he had, which was make sure the body doesn't go missing. Hildibrand has been kidnapped. But while the inspector went missing, Nashu did make a friend. His name is Delion, and he writes a paper on occult things like UFOs and ghosts and stuff. And he believes Hildibrand was abducted by aliens. We don't quite believe him because there was a witness of somebody taking like a big bag away that seemed to be like suitably sized to carry Hildibrand. So we end up following the clues until we end up down at the beach where we find no other than Dr. Luge, which is the flesh metal boss from the Tower of Babel that has like interest in making artificial beings. And with him is a merchant called Dubraka who was helping him steal Hildibrand. We put stop to this nonsense, we fight the doctor, and he ends up being just a head. Quite literally. The guards take both Dubraka and the head into custody, and Hildibrand wakes up, only to be immediately abducted by an alien. Figuring the only place an alien would go would be to the moon, we follow it, taking Nashu and Delion with us. This requires a short trip through Garlemald, and eventually we make it to the moon where Delion is just kinda constantly freaking out as he meets the Watcher, he meets the Loperit, and eventually we meet an alien. And just all too many Hildibrands. You see, the alien has the ability to copy people, but he also dutifully erases all of the clones except one, because one of the clones actually got away. Now, Hildibrand introduces us to the alien. Their name is Poo-Poo. They are here looking for the friend, who was also exploring our planet and is now missing. And so we take on the case of finding this alien's friend. As we're talking to Poo-Poo, we learn there is actually one more clone alive. And as we go to find him, we find the poor thing having an encounter with Godbert. Godbert, not having seen his son for ages, decides to greet him in the proper Mandeville fashion. And that poor clone was just not prepared. But eventually, the clone is taken care of. And we promise Poo-Poo we will find his friend, and we head back to Ratatan, where Godbert approaches us to talk about the creation of a Mandeville weapon. The story continued in patch 6.35, where Delion corners us telling us he is sure Poo-Poo is actually planning an invasion. This is all a ruse. He also tells us that Hildibrand has gone to Palakastan because he has some theories. So we drag Delion with us, we find Hildibrand, and there we learn there have been some sightings of an alien in the area. In fact, there have been a lot of sightings of an alien matching the description of Poo-Poo and his friend in the area. We end up splitting up, searching about only to discover the thing everybody was seeing was not an alien, it was a Mandragora. And as we find the Mandragora, we also find the other Mandragoras who were looking for them, along with one zombie gentleman. While we stand there once again without a clue. This is the moment Delion starts wondering about maybe there are some limitations to Hildibrand's inspector sense, and Poo-Poo, being ever so helpful, decides to clone Hildibrand so we can have two of them. But something doesn't quite go right with the duplicator, so instead of spitting out a Hildibrand, it spits out a blocky Hildibrand. And because the clone Hildibrand does not look exactly like our normal Hildibrand, he quickly takes a liking to it and actually gives it the name Brandihild. So now, as a dysfunctioning team of Hildibrand, Brandihild, Nashu, Pupu, Godbert and Delion, along with us and that creepy Lalafell that keeps on following us around to Ugul Nashu, we all continue trying to find Pupu's missing friend. And this is where Delion actually comes up with an idea. He runs a paper about flying saucers and mysteries. A lot of his readers actually send in accounts of having seen things. So we just look over all of the things people have sent in and eliminate those that Pupu could have caused, leaving us with one sighting in Garlemald. We make our way there, finding the person who made the note. And while he can't really tell us anything more, one of his friends tell us they actually shot the thing down. And here we learn that Brandihild is a mathematical genius. So he just calculates where the thing would have landed, and we go over there and find an exterior panel, but not the missing alien. So while we are trying to figure out our next plan, suddenly the creepy Lalafell comes running over telling us Nashu has been kidnapped and a ransom note was left, demanding that we, the Warrior of Light, must present ourselves at the Tower of Babel. But while we do plan to do that, we don't really have a chance to because Hildibrand and Godbert just take off running, and they run faster than any mount. So we are left lagging behind, and actually, because of that, we get a chance to play as Godbert in a fight against no other than Dr. Lugay, who has managed to escape prison, managed to kidnap Nashu, and has upgraded himself into the Super Lugay, only to be pummeled by the father and son duo of Hildibrand and Godbert. Things only get worse for him when the rest of us show up, because with the assistance of Brandihild's calculations, we end up blowing up the poor thing so badly that once again, he's just ahead, as we get the honor to just drop kick somewhere off into the distance. And that's where it ends. We head back to Ratsatan, we go for our next upgrade of the Mandeville weapon, and now all we have to do is wait until July 18th, when the patch will come out and we can finally continue the story. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you will have so much fun with the new patch. I will play the new part of the Hildibrand story live on stream on July 23rd, which is the Sunday after the release, around 1 PM GMT. It's gonna be live here on this channel, so make sure to subscribe and press the notification bell so you get notified about the stream. I think it's gonna be so much fun as we go through this together. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day.